We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition.
That is President Donald Trump announcing to the country, to the world, the United States will run the South American country of Venezuela after a stunning capture of its president, Nicolás Maduro, last night. Thank you for joining us here at KTTC Weekend News. I'm Grant Jones. The president releasing this photo behind me showing the now toppled Venezuelan dictator in custody. Here's a recap of what has gone on in the last 17 hours. Early this morning, President Trump announced the U.S. captured Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro following a large-scale strike on the capital of Caracas, which took place around 1 a.m. He wrote on Truth Social that Maduro and his wife have been removed from the country. The two were put aboard the USS Iwo Jima before being put on a plane for New York. The couple arrived in the Empire State within the past hour. The president said no Americans were killed during the operation. A helicopter had been hit, but the aircraft had not been lost. The attack comes after months of military buildup in the Caribbean Sea and strikes on alleged drug boats in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific. In the hours after Maduro's capture, the Justice Department unsealing an indictment against the Venezuelan leader from the Southern District of New York. He has been charged on 4 counts: narco-terrorism conspiracy, cocaine importation conspiracy, possession of machine guns and destructive devices, and conspiracy to possess machine guns and destructive devices. Attorney General Pam Bondi taking to X, saying Venezuela's President Maduro will face American justice on U.S. soil. She cites that Maduro was originally indicted in 2020 by the Southern District of New York for narco-terrorism and cocaine trafficking charges. The administration pointed to this indictment, as well as its position that Maduro is not the legitimate head of state, as justification for its action today. At the press conference after the strikes, President Trump telling reporters the U.S. would run the country for the time being. He did not specify how long that would be for. When asked what would happen if the United States were to administer the country for years, the president said, quote, "It won't cost us anything," end quote, as the U.S. plans to make money by selling Venezuela's oil to other countries.
We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country.
The South American country has the largest oil reserves in the world. China has become the main destination for Venezuelan oil over the past years. The news has brought strong reactions from both sides of the aisle in Congress, which was only notified of the strikes after they took place. Minnesota's senior Senator Amy Klobuchar releasing a statement this morning, saying in part, quote, "I have strongly opposed sending American forces into harm's way in Venezuela without authorization from Congress. We should not put Americans at risk in this way without careful deliberation among the people's elected representatives. Wars for regime change can lead to unintended consequences," end quote. Minnesota's 1st District Congressman Brad Finstad also responding on X this morning, saying in part, quote, "Today our country and the world are safer, and the Venezuelan people have a chance to reclaim their democracy. Maduro's narco-drug trafficking networks that have fueled violence across our hemisphere and are responsible for the deaths of thousands of Americans. Thanks to President Trump's leadership, Maduro will now face justice for his crimes against the American people," end quote. In the meantime, Maduro's Vice President, Delcy Rodriguez, has been sworn in as the new leader of her country. President Trump telling reporters Secretary of State Marco Rubio has spoken with her in the hours since Maduro's capture. Rodriguez is demanding the immediate release of Maduro and his wife. Venezuela and Colombia, backed by China and Russia, have requested an emergency meeting of the Security Council at the UN to discuss the move. Secretary Rubio also expressing at the press conference that following the operation in Venezuela, Cuba could be the next target of the Trump administration.